or anything.
Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Build and Run. This is a Unity podcast, a real VR podcast for Unity developers. My name is Lex, and this is the second episode of VRathon, a VR-focused hackathon from the grassroots up, with no sponsorship, no organization, literally iterating and learning how to do what we love better every time. We started this with our team introductions. We're still here with Vermont, Matt, and Will, and we've relocated. We've now relocated from ITP to Think Coffee, right down the street. A fantastic coffee shop. This is one of the coffee shops where you read about in books and see in movies, where you can chill out, do a hackathon. Nobody bothers you. There's great Wi-Fi, excellent electricity, and a great community.
Dude, the Wi-Fi is slow as hell.
Whatever, relax. Stop cursing.
It was like really slow, bro.
So we'll get right back to what we're doing. Is really the hackathon.
But otherwise, it's fantastic.
In terms of hackathons, it starts out with a certain goal in mind. As it goes on, it starts going to the wee hours. People have various levels of commitment and energy, and with the best and the worst hackathons, something comes out of it.
Something brilliant comes out of the worst, like patheticest, like
Yes.
most embarrassing stuff. Like somebody will think it's terrible, but a lot of times you come across stuff the brilliance and the mirth and the genius will change the world. And now we have that in our friend Will. What he came up with.
So what Vermont is trying to say is essentially what happens, and this happens at a few hackathons, is you are so excited by the people around you that you start having conversations. These conversations detract, and when it comes down to it, you realize that one person or two people have done the majority of the work, and the rest of you guys have literally just wasted time blabbering. This has been the case at this hackathon, as it may be in several hackathons, but that's the beauty of it. You have a team, and in this specific team, in this specific instance, Sir Will here has stepped up, and also along with Chris, who had to leave, they have literally taken it upon themselves to push this team into the frontier, into the future of virtual reality. And we're going to now pass it off to Will so he can literally explain what basically he's done in the past few hours. We'll rotate the camera.
All right.
Don't be shy, bro.
Yeah. So, again, if you're curious why we're in a coffee shop, a huge part of that is because my tired self couldn't really do anything productive without a caffeine boost. So, a lot of credit to Chris, who ducked out early. He did a lot of the groundwork for this, so I don't want to jump into anything without first crediting him. But basically, we made kind of a VR drum set. And the way this works is I have this little drum that I can play keys, and let's pump up some volume here so you can actually hear some of these random notes being hit.
It's a little loud in here, bro.
And the beauty of this is we're actually making this for the Vive without the Vive. So Will and Chris created this and ported it for the cardboard so we could test it without actually having the very expensive, very coveted Vive hardware.
This is completely theoretical, dude. It's like that's how advanced this guy's brain is. That he doesn't need to have the hardware in front of him. He can just conjure it and visualize it. That he is basically writing code that is going to work seamlessly, flawlessly with it. Because he if you can think a step ahead, he can think 100 times steps ahead. He's freaking I'm passing the mic to you, but let me just say, this guy can do it without even having the shit in his hands. He can do this stuff without even a computer controlling it with his mind, dude.
So basically, this is what a hackathon is. It's a little bit of organization, a little bit of chaos, a lot of production. So this is what VR production is like in less than 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah. So I think that about covers it. I'm just going to end this with a lovely chorus of...
Don't end it, you're starting
Don't end it? I'm starting it? All right, fine. In that case, I'll serenade you with a lovely chorus of random waves as I beat these hideous drums and spawn these little orbs into existence.
So we've basically achieved the very rough outline of what the project outline was. Really, the briefing was to create colliders, which we have here represented as rectangles, and we have a collider which is the wand, which would represent in Vive the hands, the user's hands. So with the user's hands, which is this rectangle that is protruding, you are able to touch the colliders, and the colliders create music. create spheres that are emitted, and they are the ones that play music. And we added a nice little particle effect because it's there, and why not?
I have to give you the hand models as well.
Just listen to that motion. It might sound
enough
like
to drive
dissonance
you
and not harmonious yet, but like basically this guy's movements, the things he touched, is changing the pitch. Where like if you're running around the scene, which will happen with the HTC Vive, and this guy's doing it completely in theory because he's like a freaking professor.
Yeah, these totally aren't random tones being emanated.
Right. When we add the beautiful tones, and it's just gonna like, dude, it's gonna be a symphony that you are like conjuring with your hand movements and your arms and all this stuff. And the crazy thing is like, this guy is just doing it, thinking through the theoretical part, the concepts, the freaking, the soul, the math. And he can do that without even having the stuff in his hands. And that's why I'm like, he knocked me out of my chair. And you need to meet this guy and you need to hear all about him. And I wish you could, see that a little bit clearer. Because once you got the headsets, like you won't want to come out of this experience. You'll be like the Lawnmower Man, except you'll be like Beethoven, like inside the Lawnmower Man.
Yes. And that is really what it comes down to, is we are creating from a blank void music that is interactive, music that is literally cross-platform. This is made on a PC, this will work on a Mac, this will work on the Vive, this will work on the futuristic hardware that we are not on this day able to even use. So development in VR is a hodgepodge, a smorgasbord, a random association of talents and skills and technologies that comes together in creation in every dimension, including sound. And really what a hackathon really is, and if you talk about the experience of a hackathon, yes, it is coding, yes, it is development, yes, it is prizes, it is organization, it is team building, it is all these things, but one thing that it is most of all, it is fun. And if we can leave you with anything after this second episode of VRathon, is that hackathons are fun, and we would like to invite you to participate in this fun that we're having together developing. And us as developers know no more fun. There is no Dungeons and Dragons, there is no race car in real life, there is no
there's no PhD you need to get into this scene. There's like you bringing your person into your work, and like it scares people, think it's brainy shit. If you can pass high school physics, maybe you can't, but we can get you there, and you can get there if you practice. You can conjure worlds, you can play God, and what Will has achieved this night is like, imagine when you used to go on your field trips in like middle school to see the symphony, and there's that composer, or like there's the conductor with the wand and stuff, just controlling this whole band making music. That is what he has created the first prototype for doing. That your hand movements are going to create that soaring crescendo and basically the downbeat. And like that is what we're on the verge of doing. And we're a bunch of pretty average dudes. We just like have a lot of freaking passion for this stuff. And if you want to do this stuff, you can do that stuff too. And go to the Unity site.
Yeah,
the tutorials.
absolutely. Unity3D.com/learn is where, if you look at it, all of us learn this. We've not taken any classes. We've learned through the curriculum that Unity itself has developed. Unity is a game engine. They do not specialize in training, but they do training better than anybody on earth, to the point where we've all learned this with nothing but going to unity3d.com/learn / whatever it is.
Figure out whether you should back.
When you're on the internet, you only use one type of slash, and that is the one you use. But basically, what a hackathon is an organization. It is a group of people that assemble, not just to develop, not just to program, not just to make things, but to have fun. And if we could leave you with anything, it is that. That is what we should leave you with.
The Sydney Orchestra with the power
flat
of his
note
front
of
and his
C sharp.
hands, dude.
Oh, C sharp. What an excellent note. We should leave it.
Is C sharp an actual note?
It is.
It is.
That would be excellent. That should be the theme song from now on. That will be the intro. It would be a C sharp. But yeah, basically,
that's a really enjoy.
It is fun. it is the kind of fun that you only have making things. Like, you will never have this much fun playing a game.
Another key part about it, though, as well, is it is everybody coming together. So it's not one person has all the skills that you need. You need a team of people. So even if you don't have physics, or you don't have the programming, or you don't have the 3D graphics, or whatever it is, you will have something to contribute, because everything is considered. Everything from the user interface to the theoretical, the conceptual of what this thing is going to be, right down to the practical of, you press this key and that makes that thing work.
The human touch.
You need the whole thing, so everyone plays a part.
There's technicians, and then there's people with personalities. If you have that personality, you already have more than enough. And you can probably learn what the technicians do and do it better than them. Like, we're aliens, dude. Like, we don't got the people skills, but you got them, and you can put them into your work. And if you go to unity3d.com/learn, you will find that same power to create a world, like, with your fingertips and with your creativity, like the world where you set the rules, the world where you can destroy mountains and freaking walk through skyscrapers and freaking...
Everybody has their own dreams,
exactly.
obviously. Godzilla dreams are your own.
You can play music by waving your hand, just like what this guy achieved tonight. That's all available to you. And this guy has motion... Yeah, you have some skills,
let's do a quick recap. So we've, in less than 5 hours, we started, assembled a team, figured out a project, distributed that project, essentially shouldered that load, and we could focus a lot of the shouldering the load on Chris and Will at this point. But this is what a hackathon is you come together, you find an obstacle, a problem, and you solve it together. And with a little bit of chaos and a lot of fun, and really what we've had here is a lot of fun. And please join us for the next episode where we actually take this and port it to the Vive for real, and we actually get to test it. Right now we're testing as if we were driving a car with a cardboard box and a piece of card and a paper plate, and acting like this is what it would be like. And honestly, sometimes
we're
you have
not
to do
that
that.
far off with that, though.
Yeah, because the technology is coming, and eventually it will be almost taken for granted. It will always be commonplace. Right now, the technology that we're speaking of, and you'll look back on this in the future and be like, oh, what? They don't have a Vive? They don't have contact lenses that show AR? No, we don't. We are literally producing stuff for cardboard, unofficial cardboard, and any other primitive technology that we have available to us. The tools, however, will not change. So as the Vive comes out, as the HoloLens, as Epson's Moverio comes out, Unity will be the tool for creation. And we are assembled here as Unity experts to not only work and develop stuff, but we are here to teach you and have you along with us for the ride. Thank you so much for taking the journey of the first inaugural maiden voyage of VRathon with us. I'm Lex, this is Ramont, Will, and Matt. This episode, just like every other episode, is brought to you by VRVU.com. If you would like some VR done for you, go to VRVU.com and you will be taken care of. And literally you will get it now and not next year when it's too late. Thank you for listening. This has been an episode of Build and Run, build-run.com. See more.
Is that around?
There's way more awkward high fives. If you see the keynote from Vision Summit 2016, you will see one of the most awkward high fives by some of the greatest visionaries in virtual reality. The problem with virtual reality
turn into awkward hugs.
Oh yes, absolutely. He knows exactly what we're talking about. There's actually an animated GIF of it. But literally, we get so good at VR, we start to deteriorate and decay our abilities in real reality.
Yes.
So, thank you for joining us. This has been an episode of Build and Run, the VRathon episodes. Enjoy, and thank you.
And please clap.
Please clap.
So you're a